Today we're going to be diving into the realm of gimbals and stabilizations with the newly released Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E, a 3-axis handheld gimbal that continues the lightweight model of the Weebill 3S, but provides a professional-grade payload and stabilization in a more accessible form factor. When they released the previous 3S, it stirred quite some hype in the filmmaking community, especially the sling grip design. So when Zhiyun reached out and asked if I wanted to check out their new invention, I said yes. The Cinepeer boasts an industry-leading algorithm for a great user experience, wireless camera control through Bluetooth shutter, a customizable trigger button, plus an adjustment wheel for your favorite functions, a vertical mode with no extra accessories, and an improved battery for longer runtime. This and more in an ultra-compact, lightweight, comfortable, and sleek design, all at a competitive price. I'm going to be showing you how it works and put it to test in a real-life situation. I'll be using the Cinepeer for a solo short film to see how it handles different scenarios. How practical is the Cinepeer 3E, and does it address the issue for me with majority of the other gimbals on the market? If you're looking to either get a new system, upgrade your current one, or just want to learn more, this video is for you. The evolution of camera stabilization began in the early 20th century, but a huge leap took place in the 1970s with the invention of the Steadicam by Garrett Brown. This revolutionized filmmaking by enabling fluid motion and dynamic tracking shots without the bulk and restrictions of the traditional dolly systems. Enter the 2000s. This is where it saw the advent of digital technology leads the way for the development of 3-axis gimbal systems to achieve even greater stability and flexibility. And even till today, it is still very much used in cinema to enhance the visual storytelling of a film. They allow filmmakers to capture smooth, professional quality footage in dynamic or challenging environments. The Weebill 3E tips the scales at just 990 grams with folded dimensions that's the same as that of an A4 paper. Despite its featherweight build, the Weebill 3E offers a comfortable grip that reduces fatigue. It is equipped with Zhiyun stabilization algorithms, which means that its motors can handle majority of the full frame and APS-C cameras with ease. Also, it is equipped with a Bluetooth shutter for wireless control of the camera without complicated cables. It comes in 3 different modes: light, portrait switch, and sling grip model. For me, my biggest issue in the past with gimbals has been performance and ergonomics. So I went out to test to see if this gimbal was the real deal or if this was all just fluff. For the test, I have the Sony A74 mounted on the gimbal, a Sigma 24-70 f2.8 with a variable ND attached, bringing the total weight to about 1.5 kg. This way, I'm able to stretch this system to the limits and see what it can really do. Full disclaimer, Zhiyun did send the system to me for free, but I wasn't under any obligation to accept this product or make a video. Money did not change hands, and I haven't been told not to say anything. So this review is my honest individual opinion as a filmmaker and a consumer. And before we go into the test, let's see what comes in the box. The Cinepeer Weebill 3E Portrait Switch Model Kit comes in a brown paper packaging with minimal aesthetics. Inside, there's a gray foam box that looks very much like what we're used to seeing from Zhiyun. And the manual, of course. The box contains 1 gimbal unit, a newly designed Manfrotto base plate, 1 base stand, a Type-C to Type-C cable, a Type-C to Type-A cable, and a 3/4 inch screw to mount the base plate to the camera. At first glance, the somewhat futuristic design of the gimbal looks really nice, and the rubber coating at the base provides good grip, making handling really solid. On the left side of the grip, there's a joystick rocker, a record button, a mode dial button, and a Type-C USB port for power delivery. To the right, there's a power button, a menu button, and a scroll wheel. In front, there's an OLED display screen to see what mode you're in. And at the back, there's a quick trigger button to toggle between gimbal modes and a customizable wheel for focus or other direct camera controls. The Cinepeer also offers Bluetooth connectivity to your camera and a very clutter-free interface. Now, if you'd still like to connect the gimbal via a physical connector, there's a USB-C connector on the top axis with a camera icon, and the new native portrait shooting mode made possible by a new quick release system. In this mode, you can swiftly alternate between horizontal and vertical mode without adding or removing components. Batteries are not interchangeable, but that isn't a problem as you can easily get 10 to 16 hours of runtime on a single charge. At the base of the unit, you have 3 mounting points in the form of 1/4 inch screw holes. When Zhiyun first told me about this, the first point was, it's ultra compact and lightweight, literally the size of an A4 paper. And if you place the folded Cinepeer on a piece of A4 paper, you can easily see that it actually fits within the dimensions, but a key difference is the absence of the integrated field light that was present on the 3S and other Weebill gimbals. But using this gimbal in the short period of time I've been able to, I have some thoughts. First, balancing the gimbal. For anyone who is new to gimbals, this would take you less than 10 minutes from setup to filming. even less for anyone who has used the system before. There are no complicated locks, which really just makes it very straightforward. I particularly love that the tilt and roll axes use levers instead of screws, which makes it faster to work with, especially when you want to make some fine adjustments. If I was going to nitpick, I'd say the levers on the bottom plates can be a little difficult to unlock initially, but after a while, you get the hang of it. The buttons feel nicely integrated into the gimbal and complement the overall design. In fact, from an angle, you can see everything at a glance, which is a nice touch. The only thing I found was how difficult it was to reach at times. The proximity of the button and the dial wheel to my thumb meant that I needed to switch hands to use them. But I don't see this as a problem because I'll dial in my settings anyway before filming. When you have the gimbal connected to your camera, it gives you basic camera controls that you can interact with, ranging from e-focus, e-zoom, ISO, and more. The start and stop record button as well can trigger the camera, which is nice, meaning that you can reduce wired connection constraints for full creative control. As of this moment, Canon, Sony, and Panasonic cameras are supported. Perhaps they'll release support for more cameras in a future update. However, when I tried to use it during the shoot, it didn't work. It was connected, but didn't work. Most likely a user error, and it's something I'm going to try again. For me personally, I liked the refined base plate. Luckily, it fits right on my tripod, which means that I can use the systems almost simultaneously, going from tripod to the gimbal. The OLED screen is a nice addition to the gimbal and helps you see what mode you're in. Of course, it's not the most impressive monochrome screen gimbal display, but it works just fine for dialing your settings. There are many settings on this gimbal that you can change to fit your needs, but I don't want to bore you with that. Oftentimes, I find that I almost never look at the screen while filming, which is good because it means that the screen isn't distracting me from creating. The 2600 mAh battery surprisingly delivered a 10 to 15 hours runtime, which is just incredible considering no human can shoot for that long. I think so. I shot for about 4 to 5 hours and the battery was still over 65%. Ultimately, it's small enough that even when not in use, I can lock all the axes and still leave my camera on there. It's not going to bother me from going out or doing things just because it's so easy to set up and take down. The build quality of this gimbal is surprisingly solid. The arms are metal based with plastic inserts, which helps keep this thing as compact as possible. The locking mechanism is helpful for balancing, but even more for transportation. The option to mount your camera vertically is something that will appeal to a lot of creators who make content for the internet. The pan axis is the only one that has an unlimited motion range, and frankly, that's the only one that really matters. Now, Zhiyun doesn't give an official payload, but they provide a camera and lens compatibility list. In my experience, all the basic functionalities were stable and worked well with the camera and lens setup, even though this was me pushing the requirements to the limit. It's obvious that Zhiyun has been developing their stabilization program for quite some time now. However, compared to the 3S, there was really no significant difference in terms of performance because it's not built to handle cinema cameras like the Komodo 6K, and in this power to price range, I wouldn't expect it to be. Speaking of price, the Weebill 3E is a really likable, convenient, and cost-effective way to get smooth, stable shots. Given the price of around $249 US, depending on what model you want to get, it offers a lot for little compared to others on the market. And for me personally, the ultra compact nature of this system is why I recommend it for any filmmaker. In the future, I'll have tested this sufficiently enough to see if it's the best and most compact gimbal for everyday carry. I think the conversations around gimbals can be polarizing, so I'll just say my personal piece. A gimbal is not a gimmick. It is a useful tool, but it's also not something you need to use all the time, and it's hardly the first thing you need to buy if you're embarking on your filmmaking journey, but it depends on what you plan to do and film. The main thing to consider when choosing a system is that each gimbal has a specified range of weight and size to camera and lens combo that it will work with. If it's too light or too heavy, it won't function correctly. After years of using different systems, my opinion is that getting a gimbal that can allow for multiple points of contact is your best option, because it's way easier to hold a gimbal with two hands for long periods of time than with one, and the Cinepeer puts this at the front of everything. The compact nature of this thing is why this system is worth it for me. Considering its price point, the features, and the payload it offers, the Weebill 3E is targeted more towards beginners to middle filmmakers who are aiming to buy their first gimbal or trying to elevate their filmmaking gear for an affordable price. I hope you found this review useful, and if you want to get the Cinepeer Weebill 3, there's an affiliate link in the description of this video. It won't cost you any more than the original price, but it helps keeps the channel running so I can generate more content like this and many more. Let me know what you think about this gimbal in the comments. If you like the music in this video, links will be in the description as well. Thank you and God bless.